Before anything else, pause for a moment and notice that sudden ringing in your ear. That high-pitched tone isn't random background noise or a bodily glitch. It's more like a coded message from realms you might sense but cannot always see. If you have the letter M on your palm or the subtle crescent moon curve etched among your lifelines, your energetic wiring is especially tuned to pick up these echoes. You're reading this because you felt that unexpected ping, that sharp pulse, and maybe you've wondered, why me? What does it mean? That ringing often comes when you least expect it, maybe just as you drift towards sleep, or right after you think of someone from your past. It can feel startling, sometimes unsettling, but it's actually an invitation to shift how you relate to your own energy. If this resonates, know you're not alone or broken. You carry a sensitive antenna for subtle transmissions, sometimes from others, sometimes from higher guidance. The aim here is to help you recognize what's happening, protect your own field, and use these signals for deeper insight rather than confusion. Your energetic sensitivity is a gift. First, let's reframe. Sensitivity isn't weakness. If your hands show that M and crescent moon pattern, think of yourself as a resonant soul, someone with a built-in spiritual satellite dish. You sense more than the average person because your soul long ago agreed to hold a certain frequency. Others may brush off the ringing as tinnitus or dismiss it as coincidence, but for you, it's part of how your energetic system communicates. Rather than fearing or ignoring it, you can learn to welcome these signals and decode them. In daily life, this might look like noticing how your mood shifts without obvious reason, or how tears arise unexpectedly in the middle of laughter. You might feel a sudden chill in your chest, or a subtle pressure on one side of your head. These experiences can be disorienting at first, but they are all part of the same phenomenon. You're picking up waves crossing invisible threads tied to people, places, times, or even spiritual guidance. Recognizing that sensitivity as a gift is the first step toward working with it consciously. A few core categories of ringing triggers. Instead of listing many discrete points, let's group the common experiences into a handful of broad categories. This helps you remember the essence without getting lost in detail. Resonance with others' energy. Sometimes the ringing reflects someone's unresolved feelings or thoughts directed at you. This could be someone from your past, an old friend, a former partner, or even someone you barely know whose mind lingers on you. Their longing, regret, envy, or strong emotion sets up energetic vibrations that reach you like sonar pings. You might notice sadness, heaviness, or anxiety right after the ringing, as if you borrowed their feeling for a moment. Recognizing this is key. It's not your own emotional baggage, but a temporary resonance that you can learn to release. Psychic or social ripples. At times, the ringing happens when people talk behind your back or project opinions about you. Even if they are far away or you're unaware, subtle negativity or curiosity travels faster than words. If you tune in, you pick up that brush of energy. It can be unsettling because you might not know the source consciously. This shows how transparent energy fields can be. But with practice, you can discern whether it's merely noise, someone's peripheral thoughts, or something you want to clear immediately. Higher guidance and alignment signals. Not all signals are warnings or echoes of others. Some come as gentle, uplifting tones that leave you feeling calm, clear, or lit up inside. These often coincide with moments of synchronicity, noticing repeating numbers on a clock, like 2:22, 3:33, 11:11, or sudden inspiration. That ringing can serve as a kind of spiritual GPS, guiding you toward choices or reminding you that you're on the right path. Learning to distinguish these more subtle, benevolent rings from the heavier, draining ones empowers you to receive guidance more reliably. Recognizing patterns without overthinking, you may have noticed that ringing episodes often align with mirrored experiences. A thought of someone appears just before you hear the ping, or the ringing comes right before a text or phone call, or numbers jump out at you on the clock immediately afterward. This isn't random. Those repeating numeric patterns like 444, 555, 777, if your clock shows triple digits, 1212, 999, or other sequences, act as confirmation stamps that the signal you received is meaningful. Over time, you'll start noticing which patterns tend to accompany heavy, draining pings versus light, guiding tones. Rather than chasing every detail, develop a gentle curiosity. When you hear the ring, take a quiet breath and observe. What was I just thinking? How do I feel in my body? Do I feel pressured or uplifted? Did a certain person or memory arise in my mind? Then glance at the time. Did a familiar number pattern appear? This simple pause and reflect habit trains you to collect real data about your own energetic landscape without getting overwhelmed by endless lists. Over time, you naturally build an intuitive database. You recognize that a sudden left ear ring plus anxiety plus seeing 1111 often means an unwanted emotional echo, while a soft right ear ring plus calmness plus seeing 333 may signal alignment or guidance. Grounding and shielding practices. To keep your field clear and stable, simple practices can become daily anchors. You don't need elaborate rituals, just consistent mindful actions that reinforce healthy energetic boundaries. Breath-based reset. When the ringing surprises you, place your right hand gently over your heart, close your eyes, and take 3 slow, conscious breaths. As you inhale, internally affirm, I reclaim my energy. As you exhale, release with, I let go of what is not mine. This tiny ritual sends a signal through your nervous system that calms agitation and strengthens your natural filter. It anchors you back into your own frequency rather than scattering attention into every stray vibration. Mirror shield visualization. If a ringing comes with a heavy emotional charge, like dread, anger, or sadness, you can visualize yourself surrounded by reflective surfaces that bounce away unwanted energies. Close your eyes and imagine mirrors all around, facing outward, with a mantra such as, only love and light may enter, all else returns to its source. This practice uses intention plus visualization to reinforce your field's integrity. It can be done in a minute whenever you sense a draining ping. Cord release for lingering ties. Sometimes you experience persistent ringing tied to one person, maybe someone who repeatedly focuses mental energy on you, consciously or unconsciously. In those cases, a simple cord-cutting visualization helps. Sit quietly, breathe, and imagine a thin silver cord linking your heart or solar plexus to theirs. Visualize holding a luminous blade, and with kindness say, with love and peace, I release this connection for the highest good of both. I am free. They are free. Watch that cord dissolve into light. You may notice the ringing shift afterward, often softer, or dropping away entirely. Energetic firewall. To prevent absorbing random thought forms, imagine a luminous sphere of light pulsing around your body. With each inhale, see it growing stronger. With each exhale, reinforce the intention. I allow in only what serves my highest good. All else is blocked. Especially if you carry the M and Crescent moon markings, your words and intention carry activation power. Repeating this briefly each morning helps program your field to filter out static and reduce background hum over time. Water reset ritual. After busy or crowded environments or conversations that leave you feeling off, try this. Fill a glass of water with a pinch of sea or Himalayan salt. Place your dominant hand over the glass, say quietly, absorb and neutralize all foreign energies. Return me to my purest frequency. Leave the glass by your bedside overnight. Then pour it out in the morning, down the drain. This ritual uses water and salt as energetic cleansers and can ease the intensity of future ringing episodes. Solar plexus seal. After an emotionally intense interaction or a ringing that left you unsettled, place both hands over your solar plexus around the upper abdomen. Visualize a golden door closing and locking there. Mentally or aloud affirm, I calm and seal my field. Only what uplifts may remain. A yawn, a sigh, or a subtle shiver afterward often signals that your field is recalibrating. This practice helps ensure that emotional waves from others do not linger inside you. Decoding instead of reacting. The real power emerges when you shift from reacting to decoding. Each ringing becomes a piece of information, data about energetic influences around or within you. Cultivate a gentle threefold awareness whenever it occurs. 1. Notice emotional charge. Check within. Do you feel sudden sadness, anxiety, longing, or heaviness? That often points to a human source, someone's emotional echo reaching you. 2. Scan physical sensations. Pay attention to bodily reactions, goosebumps, chills, pressure on the forehead or crown, or a light uplifting flutter in the chest. These may signal guidance from higher realms, or your own deeper self offering insight. 3. Observe mental flashes. See if a name, face, memory, or specific thought arises right after the ring. That clue helps identify who or what is sending that vibration. Over time, you train yourself to recognize patterns. Particular people or situations often trigger certain sensations, and others come with a different feel altogether. By treating each episode as a mini data gathering session, rather than fearing or ignoring it, you gradually become fluent in your own energetic language. You'll start to tell the difference between a draining summons, someone stuck in old karma calling on you, a neutral social ripple, someone gossiping or projecting, and a positive, guiding buzz, alignment, or a nudge to pay attention. Working with numeric synchronicities, repetitive number patterns often accompany these experiences. Instead of memorizing long lists, use them as gentle confirmations when you already sense something is happening. For example, noticing 1221 might hint that energy is reflecting back to you. Seeing 1414 could suggest activation of your leadership or service path. Catching 616 may mark an ending and beginning. 818 might point to balancing giving and receiving. These patterns act like timestamps from the universe, reminding you, yes, what you just sensed is real. Pay attention. Keep a loose journal or note these when they feel significant, but don't turn it into a task that burdens you. Let them be occasional guideposts supporting your inner knowing. Addressing energetic burnout. Highly sensitive souls often face an unseen struggle, spiritual overload. You may feel exhausted even after good rest, or find your mood shifting unexpectedly without clear triggers. This isn't depression or anxiety in the usual sense, but rather energetic fatigue from picking up too many frequencies at once. Imagine a radio left on all channels. You eventually hear a loud, chaotic hum rather than clear signals. To mitigate this, build simple daily habits. Begin each day with a short grounding ritual, e.g., placing hands over heart, breathing, and setting intention to filter energies. Take brief pauses during the day to reconnect with your body. Even a minute of mindful breathing can discharge accumulated noise. Limit exposure to environments or people that repeatedly trigger heavy ringing without offering meaningful lessons. Cultivate nourishing activities that restore your own frequency. Nature walks, gentle movement, creative expression, or time in silence. Honor rest. If you feel tired in the middle of the day, allow a short break or quiet moment rather than pushing through exhaustion. Remember, your empathy and sensitivity exist not for endless suffering, but for guidance and service in balanced ways. Setting boundaries around your field is an act of self-care and empowerment, not selfishness. Turning ringing into guidance. Once you've practiced grounding, shielding, and decoding, the ringing becomes less of a mystery and more of a companion, a tool for spiritual discernment. When you hear it, pause, breathe, check in a state, note any associated numbers or memories, then decide, is this something to release immediately? Cord cutting, shield visualization, or something to welcome and explore, journaling insight, meditation on guidance? Over time, you develop a rhythm where the ring doesn't alarm you, but signals you to pay attention. You learn to flow with it, trusting that some pings point to lessons about relationships or past ties to clear, while others bring fresh inspiration or confirm you're aligned with your path. Your own body becomes a living instrument. Ear ringing, subtle shifts in heart or solar plexus, intuitive flashes, all become a feedback system. You don't need complex theories. Simple awareness practices suffice. As you strengthen your filter, random noise fades. The ringing that remains is more focused, offering clearer messages rather than chaotic interference. Embracing your spiritual role. Why do you experience this while others around you do not, or less intensely? Because you chose a path of deeper spiritual responsibility. Long before this lifetime, your soul agreed to be a conduit, a node connecting realms and helping clear emotional density in your lineage and community. The markings on your palm symbolize that contract. You aren't here just to sense, you're here to transmute and guide. Recognize that your sensitivity is part of your life's purpose. At times, you may worry you're too different or fear the responsibility. But every step you take toward understanding and managing your field strengthens your capacity to serve without draining yourself. You become an example, someone who navigates energy with grace, offering light without absorbing everyone else's shadows, cultivating a supportive community. Though this phenomenon can feel isolating, you're part of a larger field of like-minded souls. When you share your experiences, perhaps in a trusted group or an online community, you offer reassurance to others and receive validation yourself. A spiritual gathering point emerges when people resonate with what you share. This two-way transmission amplifies collective awakening. So if you feel drawn to connect, write, or speak about what you sense, describe a recent ringing episode, note the feelings or numbers that appeared, and see who else recognizes the pattern. Even a few lines can ripple out, reassuring someone on the other side of the world that they're not alone. Simple daily practices to strengthen your field. Rather than a long checklist, here are a few gentle habits to weave into daily life. Morning intention. Before checking your phone or starting tasks, place hands over heart, breathe, and set a simple phrase. Today I align only with what uplifts me. I filter all else. Repeat for a week and notice how your baseline shifts. Midday. Pause. At a natural break, lunch, or a short walk, take a minute to notice any subtle ringing or body sensations. Do a quick shield visualization if needed, then return to your activities refreshed. Evening reflection. Before sleep, reflect on any ringing episodes from the day. Note whether they carried heaviness or light. Offer gratitude for guidance signals, and release any residual echoes through a brief cord-cutting visualization or breath practice. Nature connection. Whenever possible, spend time outdoors, near trees, water, or earth. Nature helps discharge accumulated energies and grounds you back into your own frequency. Creative expression. Use writing, drawing, movement, or sound to process impressions. Even if you don't fully understand a ringing message, letting it flow into art or journaling can clarify what needs attention. These simple routines help you stay centered, so that when ringing arises, you meet it from a place of calm rather than turmoil. Advanced discernment over time. As you become more fluent in decoding, you'll notice subtle shifts. Heavy pings from certain people become less frequent as you clear old chords. Guiding tones become clearer or more pronounced when you're aligned with your path. You may find that some number sequences reliably accompany positive shifts, while others flag cycles ending or new beginnings. Trust your own experience rather than any fixed rule. What matters is how you feel and what patterns you observe personally. If a ringing consistently signals guidance, perhaps inspiring an idea or confirming a decision, learn to pause and attune. Meditate on the next steps, journal insights, or take aligned action. If a ring signals a draining echo, use shielding and release techniques promptly. Over time, this turns ringing from a distraction into a refined instrument, a spiritual radar that supports conscious living. Navigating energetic overload. Even with good practices, there may be times when the volume seems too high, more signals than you can process. This calls for extra self-care. Recognize when you need rest. If your mind feels cluttered and ringing intensifies, step back from busy schedules. Allow quiet time. Temporarily reduce exposure to social media. crowded places, or emotionally heavy environments. Lean on supportive relationships or communities where you feel safe sharing experiences. If possible, work with a mentor or energy worker who understands this sensitivity and can guide you in deeper practices or clearings. Trust that these periods of overload are signals to slow down, not signs you must push through. Honoring your limits preserves your field and prevents burnout. Remember, your role isn't to absorb everything, it's to sense, filter, and direct energy consciously. When signals flood in, your task is to sort and release, not hold, reclaiming your conductor role. Ultimately, this journey is about shifting from passive reception, merely reacting to every ping, to active mastery as the conscious conductor of your energetic field. You learn to choose what to receive and what to reflect back. You develop discernment. Which rings are invitations to growth, which are warnings to set boundaries, and which are echoes best released. This mastery enables you to serve others from a place of abundance rather than depletion. As you practice, you'll notice greater clarity in daily decisions, deeper trust in intuition, and more aligned relationships, since you no longer carry or project unwanted energies. Your sensitivity becomes refined. You still pick up subtleties, but with a stable filter that keeps you balanced. The process transforms silence. Instead of unsettling emptiness, silence becomes a fertile space where insight emerges. The ringing, rather than random chaos, becomes a rhythm you learn to read. Embracing the journey. If you've made it this far, trust that something inside you recognizes these truths. You were never meant to be confused or overwhelmed by this phenomenon. The ringing and subtle transmissions have always been part of your awakening. Now, at this point in your journey, you're invited to choose empowerment, to move from feeling like a passive receiver to stepping into your role as an awakened steward of energy. This path requires patience, gentle self-observation, and trust in your own inner guidance. Celebrate every moment when you successfully shield yourself or when a guiding ring leads you to insight. Each is evidence of your growing mastery. And remember, though your experience is personal, you belong to a larger field of kindred souls. Sharing your story helps weave a supportive network where all can learn from one another. When you describe your ringing experiences or ask questions, someone across the globe may read and feel less alone, amplifying the collective awakening. Moving forward. In practical terms, keep your daily grounding and shielding practices simple and consistent. Use breath resets, mirror visualizations, cord releases, and water rituals as needed. Observe patterns without judgment. Lean into supportive communities when you feel called. Honor rest and self-care during times of overload. And most importantly, trust that the subtle signals you receive through ear ringing and related sensations are part of a larger conversation between you and the unseen. You're learning a new language, the language of energy, resonance, and spiritual alignment. By embracing this journey, you transform ringing from a confusing annoyance into a guiding ally. You reclaim your role as the conscious conductor of your field, filtering out what drains you and welcoming the transmissions that uplift and guide. Your sensitivity becomes your strength, and your hands and ears, marked with their unique signs, serve as instruments of deeper connection and insight. May this renewed perspective help you navigate each ringing moment with curiosity and confidence. Remember, you are not crazy or broken. You are chosen in the sense that you've taken on the responsibility of sensing subtle realms. Now you learn to direct that energy with wisdom. As you walk this path, each pulse and each subtle tone becomes a teacher, guiding you toward ever greater clarity, protection, and alignment with your soul's purpose. Stay gentle with yourself, keep practicing, and welcome the deeper awakenings that follow each signal. Your journey of energetic mastery is unfolding one ring at a time,